G'day and welcome back for more Survival Impossible. And last time I did not do well with building the track, crashing the bed bug, running out of power, and kind of realizing that one of the things that's really important for me to do around this place is to set up a lot of these vehicles with event controllers so they tell me when things are wrong, or so that they just turn off their antennas when they're parked. So for example, Manny, which I'm going to go and use to go and collect the bed bug that I crashed, needs an event controller to set things up when I dock. Because a lot of these vehicles were built before event controllers even existed, so they're lacking some of that automation stuff that would be really, really nice to have. Now I reckon just on the side here is probably the best spot. Okay, do the usual setup for the event controller and make sure that it's all working. Hey! One less broadcast around this place. I'm gonna... Oh. That's not ideal. Probably don't want that light turning on every time it'll be fine. But anyway, I'm gonna need to do that around this place and try and upgrade as many of the vehicles as possible. And the reason this sort of came to mind when thinking about the bed bug was that something that would be really useful for it would be to similarly use an event controller to tell me loudly when my battery is low. Because, as was noted last time, when you are in the cockpit of a vehicle, you can usually see your power until you go to block placement mode, at which point you can't see anything. Yes, my LCD does have a power readout on it, but that power readout is only my current usage of the total watts available, not my stored. So that's not helpful. I could use a script to possibly put my power remaining up there, and that might be useful, but I think having a loud warning, perhaps even an obnoxious warning, might actually be better. And I'm thinking of going particularly obnoxious. Because there aren't a lot of vanilla audio options, but one of them is the Spasmatica Polka, otherwise better known as fun music. Because if that's playing, I am definitely not going to ignore it. If that is playing, I will pay attention and I will realize that I have to stop doing what I'm doing, and I will go and land the bed bug. There was a suggestion which I quite like the idea of, but not in this particular setting, which is to use the AI blocks, the autopilot blocks, and make it land itself when it has, say, 20% power left, so that it forcibly takes over control and makes me land. The reason I find that appealing in some respects, but not in others, is that to do that here is kind of risky. To do that here, I would end up needing to give over control of a vehicle that does not have a lot of lateral or tilt thrust to the autopilot in 1.9 Gs. And I don't think that's going to end very well. So that's why I'm leaning towards just a really loud warning to tell me to land. And that's what I'm going to do once I recover the bed bug, which is hopefully around here somewhere. There it is. So if I pick it up and carry it home with Manny, I should be alright. Now, I didn't do something that I probably should have done that would have made driving down here a bit easier. I can actually, on Manny, change which wheels steer. Now I am front wheel steer, which I probably should have done after I grabbed the thing, but it looks like I should be able to line myself up pretty well. I'm going to make sure I grab from this side because the connector's on the other side. My hope is that what I'm going to be able to do... Oh, it's not that. My hope is that when I get back to base, I'm going to be able to hook this up to a connector and just charge it from that. Though that is a problem. That's right. Bedbug is still full of stuff. So let's get all the stuff out. Because it's heavy. I'm going to have to grind down this connector a little bit. Because that container is where all the stuff is, and that stuff, and because it has no power, I cannot get access to it unless I access it directly. Okay, that's yeah, that's substantially better. And off we go home. I wonder what all these holes are from. Drones? Oh, hello. Just found a pod. Actually, I think I found two. These are the two I already labeled. Maybe they are. I don't know if I've labeled these, but this actually gives me something. Oh, this is a gravel one. Alright, let's get rid of the gravel. And I'll grind down the rest of this, because at least the ground down components of this give me a bit more weight, which is going to make Manny hopefully handle a little bit better. Because at the moment, it's a little bit tricky. I'm not finding it difficult enough to bother driving home with gravel, but it is difficult enough that it'd be nice to pick up these parts. And, you know, that means I clean this up too, so double benefit. Saw another one down the hill. Maybe it will be an iron one, and maybe that'll be handy. Because if it's useful mass, then yeah, I'll take it. But if it's useless mass like gravel, nah. Don't want it. Oh, that was not good. Yeah, there we go. Here's another one. I said stop. What do you have in you? Ah, you have iron. Cool. Let's take the iron. Each time I put some in, I can see Manny shifting backwards, which is nice. It's a lot less likely for me to flip this whole thing over on the drive home. Though, also a lot more difficult to drive up a hill. But also an extra 30 tons of iron. Which I am not going to complain about. Oh dear. Oh no! Inventory full. Poop. Oh. Do I dare put some in here now that I've made that heavy? See how much actually needs to be in there, because I should be able to grab some of that back out once I've ground this down. I'd just rather not leave any of these blocks here. I'm going to come back here just for this to be annoying. I've added an extra 5.8 tons to the front. That's not wise, but it's being done anyway. Back end is sticking down at least. Let's hop into wheels. Let's give this all the power. Aha! I found the road. That's going to be helpful. Oh, jeez. I didn't see that pothole until I was on the side of it. Come on. 3 meters a second. You can do it, Manny. You can get up the hill. Come on. Come on. There we go. 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 Yes. Yes. And I'm home. I think what I'll do is I'll build a connector down here. I think the way I'm going to do this is grab a small connector and drop it on top of this one, and then build something that gets up to about the right height. So that hopefully I can then get Manny to drive up to this and plug it in. That should work pretty well. And that's a position that I never would have been able to achieve with large grid, so this is, I think, the better way to go. And unlock, then pick it up again. So that's going to be a lot easier to get connected. Huzzah! Bedbug connected. Switch both of its batteries to recharge. Then I just put a projector on there and I can repair the rest of the stuff. Sweet. Oh, don't crash into the warning sign. Well, this is going rather swimmingly so far for a recovery from a disaster. Oh, that's so nice to have. Proper hookup. With Manny parked up again, let's get this thing fixed. Projector. That's what we need first. Because luckily, I do actually have a blueprint of this ship. Now that it's lined up, let's get all these bits welded. Shouldn't take me long. It's actually not that badly damaged. I kind of smashed up all the thrusters on one side and broke one of its legs. So it could have been worse. Especially considering the height that it fell from. Now let's check the projector. Have I got all the bits? Yep, perfect. All right, now we get to add things. Let's lose the projector from there. I might actually put a projector in this. Now that I have crashed it once. I wasn't anticipating my non-combat ship to take damage and need repairs, so I wasn't thinking, oh yeah, this thing should have a projector. That makes sense. And I was like, no, this isn't going to get damaged. Why would I? But it has, so there we go. It's getting a projector. It's also going to get an event controller, and a broadcast controller. And lastly, a sound block. Sound block, where are you gonna hide? Do I hide you? Maybe I'll hide it. Yeah, let's hide it. I don't really have a lot of places on the outside that I could put it, that I think it'd look any good. Also, one of the few blocks I needed to build to unlock something projection in progression that I hadn't done. Interesting. We'll go broadcast controller there. Event controller up near the other one. Event controller. And it's going to go off all the way down here. Stored power percent equal or less than, I think 10% is enough for me to land it. I don't think I want an AND gate. I think I want to land, I'll be told to land, even if it's only one of the batteries at 10%. Yeah, I think no AND gate. And then select actions. Actually, before we select actions, let's go broadcast controller. And we're going to have message 1 be power low. Land now. And then sound block. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but that's what's happening. Is it working? Yep, that's enough. Oh no, it's even worse. Yep. Fun music is even worse than it's been because it only comes through on the left channel. That's great. You can't even tell where it's coming from. Alright, so that's going to be loud and obnoxious and it's going to play. Let's get the event controller. Hopefully, I don't have to do this all the time. Hopefully we don't have to hear this, and this will be my reasoning for not my reasoning to pay attention to the power more. This is incentivizing myself. Broadcast controller, we're going to transmit message 1. Could also do this. Event controller. Bedbug lights. When this happens, we are going to set color to red, which is going to make everything turn red. And then when everything is fine, we will set color back again. Cool. All right, I think that's satisfactory. I think that'll work well enough. The batteries are already up to 55% charge, so let's disconnect. Okay, it might actually need to be higher than 10% for the event controller. I'm looking at how much power I've got. I'm at so that's 14 minutes of up thrust time, and my batteries are at 50%. So 25% will be 7 minutes left. How many minutes do I want? I think we'll just play this really safe. Since it's already gone wrong once. 25. Okay, let's go land. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this little guy now. I think that covers most of the risk and avoids most of that happening again. Oh, did the wrong event controller, didn't I? Docking and everything immediately goes red. Although, what I will do for the other one is I will actually make a toggle block off the lights. Because, ow! Because I'm going to put some lights on the train. It's finally getting some lights. That is important. It needs lighting. Of course, I am just about to finish setting up the lights as the sun is about to rise. So, you know, typical. But in positive sign, my solar panel algae farm things, you know what I'm talking about. The algae farm things, they are facing the sunrise. And something that's been talked about a bit in the comments has been the idea of using them potentially to detect when it's daytime and when it's daytime enough that I might want to turn off a lot of my area lights around here. Like, I have a lot of lights on my builds, which I'm quite proud of because I've actually used them, but having the exterior lights turn off during the day and turn back on at dusk. I really like the idea. I'm really tempted by the idea, but I'm also aware that the idea means I have to go around and name all those lights so I know which one's the external lights. And I don't wanna. I think I'll focus for the moment in terms of that side of things, using event controllers to do things, at getting all these markers off my HUD If I can get a couple of markers off my HUD each week, I'll feel pretty happy with myself. But yeah, we have lighting on the Big Mac. Let's weld up this name because I just had a bit of a thought. I think Big Mac needs to be a bit brighter. So we're going to repaint it in a bit of a brighter yellow. So the lettering stands out a bit more. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, let's go build some rail. Since that's what I was doing before. I mean, even though it is daytime, you can see where those spotlights are going to. But it does seem like it's lighting up a fair bit of the track in front and behind, which is nice. Oh, I forgot one block. There is something I need to add here. Yep. I need an antenna on this thing. I need this to be able to relay back home so that I would have an alternative option of rescue if I fall off again. So I would be able to radio in back to base because the train's close enough and use that to connect to a drone, fly the drone to me, pick me up, take me to the train, put me back in the train, fly the drone back home, repair whatever damage has happened to the bed bug. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but still, I think the train needs a broadcast. Who knows what other stupidity I'm going to do that's going to make things behave weirdly. So let's prepare for failure, and in doing so, hopefully avoid it. Okay, I think I'm good now. We have broadcast. We can go. We have lights. Oh wow! Looking from here, that section of track with the pitch change, that looks like a really steep shift. I wonder how bad it looks as I get closer. That looks like I've changed the angle quite a lot very quickly. Hopefully that's not the case and it's actually fine. This is where I should have done the pitch adjustment. Should have adjusted this because this bit's actually, I'm going uphill right now. If I stop the train here and just let it roll, it will roll all the way backwards. But if I'd done the pitch adjustment back there, it would have been a lot better. But I don't think I'm going to be changing any of my track. What my track is what it's going to be. Oh, okay. I'm definitely pitching down here. I just tried to stop. If I stop, it starts rolling. Let's put the park brake on. And let's grab these top wheels. I'm going to increase power available on them, because that's really quite low. Oh, I am struggling to get back up that. Did I pitch down any more along here? Don't think I did. This is feeling very sketchy. I'm really struggling to stop the train right now. Like, I'm really struggling. Let's put the power right up. Like, right up. And friction's already quite high, so I don't really want it to be higher than that. It brakes off. We roll down. Oh, there we go. That's responsive. That's what I'm after. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Now this hill is not so terrifying. Previously all of my... Oh, okay, maybe it's still a little bit terrifying. That's a lot of braking time. Previously, my hills had been rolling back to the station, not away towards the end of the track. Which is where I'm headed, because I'm going to build from the train this time, rather than building from the bed bug and running out of power and crashing and all that stuff. This would also obviously not be as bad if I wasn't loaded up with plate. But I've left the plate attached because I haven't welded up with the plate yet. Largely because I wanted to check this section to see how bad it was before I welded it all up. Just in case I happen to be like, oh no, this is really bad. I need to not do this. So my thinking for the rest of the rail is basically to turn only when I need to and create long straight sections where I can. The more straight sections, the better, because they're easy to build. Plan. Alright, that's locked, so that means I can go back to building on the train without the whole thing wobbling. Of course, another blizzard has rolled in, so I'm not going to be able to see much in front or behind me. But at least I can actually see the rail now and it's not all dark, because I remembered to put lights on. Finally. Okay, this is a little terrifying. This is quite a different experience trying to build while this wants to run off the end. It's very different to what I've done with the rest of the build so far, where I've actually been fine, because the whole time the train has been perfectly level, so wherever I left it, it just stopped. But now I actually have to apply a a proper park brake every single time. This is a lot more intense. Oh, cool. That's another nice little thing looking down this valley. There's a moon. Nice. I'm still actually pitched slightly downward, despite going all this distance so far. Like I'm now something like 3Ks from base. I'm not sure, but I think I need to pitch down more, which is a little scary since it's already scary going on this slope. But I didn't realize just how elevated my section is compared to where I'm going down to. I've got to get all the way down to sea level, which is where the ice is. And I'm really high up in the mountains, it turns out. So I've got to lose a lot of altitude, and I'm just trying to think of the best, safest way to do that. And at the moment, all of the options are terrifying. Just trying to check when I'm at the right angle. I'm a long way off the ground. I think when I originally envisaged this track, it was a lot closer to the ground. But then the realities of adjusting hinges 2 degrees at a time have set in, and this whole thing is extremely elevated, which, honestly, I think I'm just going to be fine with. If this train can be made functional and complete, I'm not really going to care. I'm going to be fine. It doesn't matter. So what I've been doing here is I've been adding down-angled hinges. Okay. Thank you, game. Thank you for the timing. I've been adding down-angled hinges, and I was trying to think about how I test whether the Big Mac can actually handle this pitch. And the pitch does need to be this steep. Like, look at where that research base is. I need to get a lot of elevation loss. I should have been doing this all the way at the start. Now, I don't know... I don't even know if I could have. Like, the top of this valley is quite high. I'm not that much different to it, and I've got to get a long way down. And that music coming through a single channel. Keen, please fix it. It's so annoying. It was already annoying, and now it's so much worse. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to go to my sim world to test whether the train can handle this pitch. And if it can't, I think I'm just going to have to build the track mostly with the bed bug until I add another carriage onto this train that is actually not what most people thought I should add as a carriage, which was to carry more steel plate, which is going to make it heavier. What I probably need is just another carriage to be a locomotive, so that I've got more wheels providing more motive effort for my current mass. But at least if I made another carriage that's like the welder car, but without the welding arms and the projector and all that sort of stuff, if I just made it with the cargo, I can fill it with steel plates based on how much I can actually drive up and down this slope. And I could also add not just a third, but a fourth car, and then I've got all of those bogies providing locomotion. I can tweak the amounts a bit better. Yeah, I think I'm not confident that this can do this, so I think we've got to go across to the sim world. Alrighty, let's give this a test. Can we stop? Now I'm going to give it the absolute best chance it can get. So we've got all of our short wheel tops, got them at full power, and we'll have them at full friction. Okay, so let's get to the end of this where we're on our sloping part. Okay, so the slope begins here. I don't actually know what my pitch currently is, but it's not a lot if you look at the artificial horizon. It is real, because I'm rolling now and I did not start that acceleration. That's gravity. But it is not much. I do have a bit of roll to my right though, which is not terrible, because I'm going to have to be turning right. Okay, I am struggling to slow down now. Really struggling. But I can hold it on that one. How many more have I got to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 5 more degrees. I don't think it's going to be able to do that. So that's 1 more degree. Come on. No. Come on, stop. You can do it. You can stop. You can stop, please. Oh. Yeah, this is full stop. I ain't stopping. Oh, this is gonna get interesting. Oh, this is a long way to fall. This is a long way to fall. Oh. Oh. Oh, I'm inside. I am not inside anymore. Okay, so I am so glad I thought to sim check this first. Oh man. I need another locomotive car. The track building kind of has to be done. I need the locomotive first. All right, time to build another locomotive. Oh man, I'm so glad that that's not what I'm doing. Okay, brakes off. Reverse. What is that over there? What did that drop off? There's 2 broken blocks over there. I mean, I'm not far from the... Yeah, I'm not far from the nickel mine. There it is. I have no idea where those came from. This slope thing is really worrying me. I'm hoping that the extra, like an extra locomotive is going to make the difference. The kind of cool thing about that, though, is that if I do need more locomotives for this, I'm probably going to need more for the actual hydrogen/ice train. Even though it should be lighter, I may need more, which means longer train. Longer train is cooler, right? Like, it looks better. It looks more like a train. Like, I don't think I'm going to get to the 200, 300 car long sort of thing, but you know, if I need to have 6 or 7. That's gonna look cool. I think today's gonna be a fairly short episode overall, but at least I've got a very clear plan of what to do for the train, I think. And it was at this point I was about to do an outro when Editor Me decided, nah, we're going back. We're doing some more, because I have to fix this. While I was editing, I actually came to a rather significant realization. I do need to modify this track. I do need to make a big change earlier on because it is getting way too steep over there and I need the track to come down lower sooner. And I think, this is the crazy bit, I think I can do it. So my thinking goes like this. With one of these bits that's already got a hinge, if I disconnect that hinge and place a pair of hinges in, I can possibly do a turn and a pitch change. So I can put those 2 hinges back in, reconnect up to the distant bit, and then put that pitch change in, dropping the entire subsequent section before it gets even longer than it is. Now it is ridiculously long and the whole thing could explode, but I think it's honestly worth trying because the extra cars that I'm planning, because that is the plan, still, I think I need to give them a bit of help too. I don't think this is going to be enough. So we stop about here. We've got these hinges for the turn. That last hinge, that's the one I think I need to do. Which means I need to make the subsequent section into a static grid. Let's just check. If I turn off my brakes now, do I roll anywhere? No. So we're still pretty level. So it only gets bad when we get onto that section, so we want to try and fix it there. Okay. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll do it over to a couple of sections so I can change the pitch more gradually. Go back to here. So what I need to do is detach that, grind down the block that it's attached to. Okay. This is gonna be sketchy, but I hope it works. I really, really hope it works. So we grind. No. Yes. These are all unbuilt blocks, so nothing should drop when I disconnect this from the existing thing. Man, I hope I'm right about that. Really, really don't want to be wrong on this one. Okay, so that comes off, then we go hinge on there, but it's going to go that. Nope, it's going to go that way. I need to fly a little bit to the side. I'm going to grind that hinge part off. I'm going to put a block under here. I'm going to put a hinge part back on, and then I'm going to connect and attach it. But this one is going to have its limit set to 0 so it doesn't move. Because it shouldn't try to move until I remove all of the further supports. I have to disconnect those further supports. I'm sort of torn whether I fully disconnect them or whether I build a piston in the support that's slightly extended and then gradually lower the whole further section of the rail down with those pistons. I'm hopeful I can get away with just the remove the support thing. There we go, 0, 0, it's attached. Let's do the next one. But that's basically the idea. I have now got the ability to drop this at the same time as turning it, which means I can hopefully over the course of these 4 hinges drop this enough that this long straight section is no longer going uphill, but is at the very least level and hopefully also maybe going a little bit downhill. Because I just feel like I need to make this change now or I'm not going to be able to do it. And it's hard enough now that, yeah, I just don't want to make my life even worse. This next bit, I think I need to keep this as a static grid until I get the hinges attached. As I expect that if I dropped it first and then made it mobile, this end will drop. And based on what I've seen with the rest of the track, as I get further away from the last static grid, the weight of it, even with shared inertia tensor and hinge limits and everything like that, it still drops. The mass still has an impact, which is kind of cool in a way, but also kind of obnoxious, because it's not really desirable in my current setup. Actually, thinking on that a bit more, I wonder if these hinges will even be needed to drop this. If it's all just loose, it may well drop down far enough that I get a significant slope anyway. We'll see. This will be fun. Also, might clear out a little bit of this tower I made. Just move it back a bit from the track, because it makes me nervous every time I drive past it with the train. And I'm not confident grinding it down by hand is the right move either, because I will probably fall. Much like those blocks are doing. Alright, hopefully my shared inertia tensors are set up correctly, because now I'm going to do something wild. Now, I'm going to free up this track, and we're going to see what happens. So do I have any pillars down that way? I don't think I do yet. I think that's all free floating. Yeah. Okay. Let's free this up. Eep. I take out just the bottom block. Hopefully it won't drop that far, and maybe we'll just drop as far as the next block up allows us, and it won't just get destroyed and make a hole in the ground. Here we go. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought might happen. We have a small hole in the ground. Right. Maybe on the next one I'll shoot a little bit higher. Did I lose part of the track down this way? Did it smack into the ground? Why, yes, it did. I have lost a significant proportion of the track. All of that tilt that I built. Nuts. Honestly, this is what I was afraid of. But I still think it was the right move. Still think this needed to happen. And it's going to drop further. Let's do the next bit. Glad I didn't weld all this up. So that part's floating now. Let's shoot this one. Let it drop even further. See how much more track see how much more of my work I undo. Alright, so those two are free. My line is still as intact as it was after the first drop. Cool. Okay. I've come this far. It's time to do the last disconnection. Somewhere in the middle seemed to be safer on that last one. So here goes. 3, 2, 1. Hello? Did you decide to stay as a static grid? I think you might have. This is gonna be scary. need to do this. The reason this is terrifying is that I've got my welding ship very close to a thing that is about to go really haywire. Here we go. Or maybe not so much. Maybe most of the badness was already in it. It's definitely dropping and flailing about much more wildly. If we have a look at the end is now on the ground. I've smashed apart a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of debris in that valley now. My ramp makes this look even worse because it looks like there's a vertical support that's broken. Yeah, it's now... Is it basically in? It's looking a bit the worse for wear. There are a few segments that are going to have to be cleaned up. It's fine, I'm sure. I think that had to be done. I don't think I could have gotten around doing what I just did there. Oh. Ah, go away. I hear you. I hear you too much. Okay, we got rid of the music. I'm not. I can't even think. I can't talk. I had some things I wanted to say. So basically, what I'm going to do from here... Oh, that's not good. That's a big hole in the ground. It's a very big hole in the ground. Okay, I've made a huge mess of things. But I think it had to be done. I think I'd messed up this track up till that point. And so this kind of sends me the message that I need to not weld up the track until the track is actually connected at the other end and I know it can be traversed. Because otherwise there's a good chance that I'll be destroying long sections of track that are already welded up, and that would be bad. But this looks much better. The height of this is so much lower now. We are much closer to the ground. I think that's probably headed downhill. I'm going to be daring and we're going to drive onto that and check and see if that is indeed going downhill now. It looks like all of it's happening at that last hinge, which mightn't be terrible. I can adjust it if I need to. So this whole section was uphill before. So I'm stopped and we are now very much downhill. Not steeply, but we are downhill. That is exactly what I wanted. I wanted the downhill to start here. Perfect. So I've achieved that. I've made a huge mess, but I have achieved that. Oh man. I just saw the slope and I was like, I need to fix this. I need to fix this. So now I'm happy. And next time I'm going to add more cars to this because it's still going to need it. That slope is still going to be steep. It's just not going to be as steep. And so also my pillars will be better. But that means next time I can add more cars to this. We can expand the train station over at the base so that I can have space to build these. I can use projectors to lay out new cargo cars that are also locomotives. So they'll have the cargo, but I won't fill the cargo until I'm sure I've got a safe slope for the amount of mass versus the amount of tractive effort I have. So there's all that, and probably some more explosions as I ruin other sections of the track. And I will see you then. That feels better. That actually, like, I made a mess, but that actually does feel better.